Scooby-Doo, bee-bop-a-doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, bee-bop-a-doo.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
Welcome to 2023 Year in Review. This isn't going to take long, at least on my side. I've just got some few statistics for you here, Josh, on our 2023 year. So, Josh, you and I covered 18 bands in total this year. Does it feel like 18 bands? Feels like more, right? I know we kind of talked
Yeah,
about
it
it a little
feels
bit
like
at the
more.
beginning.
Feels like more.
So we covered 18 bands. Those 18 bands include He Is Legend, Touche Amore, Cancer Bats, Alexisonfire, Comeback Kids, Silverstein, I Wrestled a Bear Once, Spiritbox, AFI, To Speak of Wolves, Zayo, Symphony in Peril, A Life Once Lost, The Handshake Murderers, Impending Doom, Underoath, and The Devil Wears Prada. Nice little mixture there. We could probably mix it up a little better next year, but
I'm sure we'll mix
we
it
will.
up.
Yeah, we will for sure.
And we doing all kinds of crazy new things in the
Well,
new year.
craziness. There were 34, currently 34. This is the 35th episode right here. That have been recorded. Out of the 34, there was a total of 42 hours, 26 minutes, and 30 seconds worth of pure genre education with just a tinge, just a little bit, just a little pinch of comedy to go along with it. Yeah, that's when I added all that up, I was just like, what?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Crazy. It's an 8-hour work week, man. Or 40-hour work week. Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I meant. It's a full work week, man.
this time we'll never get
Uh,
back.
Yeah, I know. But we do it for you people and for us. Yeah. 2023 also saw the birth of our child, the son, the history of the Coors After Hours podcast with my friend and avid listener of this podcast right here, Eric, or as Josh likes to call it, the fun podcast.
It's the wee lad.
The wee lad. He's 1 year old. So far there is 15 episodes for that podcast, soon to be 16. We've got Spirit Box episode coming up here this next week, so be on the lookout for that. Totally forgot to do the preview of the previous episode that came out this last week of I Wrestled a Bear Once.
We'll throw it in
Oh
here.
well. I'll throw it right here. Oh! Anyway, yeah, so 15, soon to be 16 with the next episode, Spirit Box, to finish out 2023 with a total time of 16 hours, 49 minutes, and 2 seconds, with about 2 hours and about 7 seconds, if I remember correctly, of that being just for Silverstein. That was fun. Could have been a lot worse, to be honest, man.
I enjoyed it.
It was good. It
It's
was
a band that
good.
you guys really like, so you
It was, yeah. And we were talking about it too. It's like we both cut down a lot on our notes. So, like I said, it probably could have been 3, maybe even 4 hours if we really just
should have
said,
just
what
gone
the
all
heck?
in.
Yeah. At that point, it's like, just do a live stream, bro. What are
Yeah.
you doing? So, looking forward, Josh, 2024, I want to put a phrase out here for you and see what you think. Blue collar podcasting. Hmm? Hmm?
I'm a fan. Do I hear a t-shirt design?
I think so, Josh. I think so. Be on the lookout for that one.
It's
All right,
Survive by
Josh.
Productions Blue Collar
Color
Podcasting.
podcasting. I like it. I like that. All righty, Josh. I'm gonna turn this thing over to you. You give us your top 5 eras of bands we've discussed so far. That would be ranging from Norma Jean through The Devil Wears Prada. Josh, take it away.
So this originally stemmed from last week. We talked about that block, Endeavor Wears Prada from Roots Above, Branches Below to the Space EP being one of the great runs. When we say eras, I'm talking about a run of several consecutive albums that are the best period of time for a band. That's a sweet spot. And so I said that block would definitely, I couldn't say where it would fall in my top five, but at the very least, it would be knocking out number five in a list of bands that we have covered their best run of albums.
Okay. All right.
So because Devil Wears Prada did knock out my number five, I gotta give an honorable mention here to what is now number six, and that is Zayo's run of
Oh,
The Funeral of God through Awake.
wow. Okay. Okay. Through a wake,
Um,
you said?
yeah, and they have,
Okay.
they have some good ones after that. And I really liked
It's,
Crimson Corridor,
yeah, I think it's
but
the deal of like the hiatus, though, that kind of cuts that off, though, and brings that and turns that into its own
yeah, it
little
just
entity
feels
there.
like for those three albums, they were really in the groove,
The zone there. Yep. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
so Zayo was my number five, but it got
Six, you
knocked
mean?
out
Oh,
by,
yeah. Okay.
well, it got knocked out by Devil Wears Prada. So
Right.
Devil Wears Prada is number five now, the Roots to Space EP block.
Okay.
Number four,
Okay.
Curtis, Under Oath. They're only
Okay.
chasing safety through disambiguation.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Obviously, I'm doing these by, I guess I didn't say that in the beginning. I'm doing these by just the block that I think is the best. Sometimes we do an episode where, part two cuts off in the middle of that block and picks up, so it's not going to be by our episodes
No,
or
no, no,
anything.
no. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Number three,
hmm
Curtis, who do you think was number three? You got any guesses on this one?
I'm just still like shocked that Zayo got knocked out of the top five, man. That's
When you
tough.
hear the other ones, dude, you're going to be like, okay, well,
Okay.
what the hell, what were we supposed to do?
Yeah. Oh, man. Number three. Number three.
Number three.
Number three. Impending Doom?
No,
Okay.
no, Impending Doom did not make my top five.
Did A Life Once Lost make the cut?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
We're
Final
talking
guess.
premier top tier, my friend.
Okay. Norma Jean?
No scrubs.
TLC?
So number three was AFI, and
Oh,
it's
I
the
didn't even think about that one.
is the
Yeah,
Black
go ahead.
Sails through Sing the Sorrow.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Okay.
there's some other great albums,
Yeah,
but those three together,
it's a good grouping,
and
man.
you got to throw in there too. So it's really four because the All Hallows EP
Oh, that's right.
was
Yeah.
also yeah,
Drowning, Art of Drowning, and All Hallows. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. I was trying to remember what was in between those.
Number
Nice.
two on my
Mhm.
list was Norma Jean.
Okay.
It's Bless the Martyr all the way through Wrongdoers because
Durr!
yeah, Wrongdoers was one of my favorite albums by them. So Polar Similar just didn't like there's some really great tracks there, but it doesn't hit me as hard as Wrongdoers, and All Hail definitely didn't. So in my head, that's kind of where it starts to trail a little bit for me.
We talked about it in that episode of, and I made mention that Wrongdoers is the last album that you have a original member, and that's guitarist. I think it's Durs. I think is what
Yeah,
they
yeah,
call
yeah.
him. Yeah, that's his last album. And once you cut him out, yeah, you've got, you know, all new guitarists, basses, yada yada yada. Of course, Corey's still there, and we've talked about before. It's like Norma Jean is Corey, even though he didn't start the band. Norma Jean lives and dies by Corey. But I feel like that losing Durs contributed to the sound change that we got on Polar Similar.
For sure.
So
Yeah, and they made I had to give them my number two because all but two of their albums fall in this run, you know? Like this is a
Right.
multi-album situation. This is like 6, 7 albums that we're talking about in this run. So it'll probably be no surprise to you when I tell you that my number one is Every Time I Die.
Okay.
Because from the beginning to the end,
It's just the
that
beginning to
is
the
the
end, right?
run. That is the run. Every
Oh
single
my
album.
goodness, man. That's hilarious. How did I not see that coming?
Yeah, that's why Every Time I Die and Norma
Nice.
Jean kind of wound up 1 and 2 was because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, they have the longest runs for consecutively amazing albums. Like,
Mm,
arguably each one just better than the last. In Norma Jean's case, I think it's just different sometimes rather than, oh my God, you know, Meridional's so much better than Oh God, The
right.
Aftermath. It's like, no, they're both great. They're both just very different
Mm.
albums.
They
With
just
Every Time
stack
I
them up.
Die, it's not so much that they're different because they're all very similar, but it just somehow manages to reach a new height with every album. So
Right. What about
my hands
the
are tied,
chariot?
Curtis. My hands are tied.
What about the chariot though? Because you make me think that there's an album that drops for you
Um,
that kills the because I mean
l-
now obviously they were only around for 10 years.
uh-huh.
There's only is it four full lengths? Yeah, four full lengths? No, five full lengths. Right? Five? Yeah.
That was kind of my first thought is I thought about how many albums they have,
Right.
you know. Um, and then for me, I didn't want to use that one because Long Live has never been one of my favorite albums of theirs. Like
What?
there's a lot of great tracks on there, but it doesn't hit me the same way that Wars does on
Oh
one
yeah.
side of it and the way One
Forget about it.
Wing does on the other side of it, you know?
Okay.
It
Yeah. I'm not
it's
trying to like sit here and like
comparatively.
argue for it
It's
to be on
literally
there. I just yeah.
just yeah, it's literally just comparatively.
Okay. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
cool.
when you've got those two albums on either side of you, it would have to be the greatest thing they ever did to hold up, you know?
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Just trying to look back at some of these bands that we did this year, see if there was
I mean,
any
there's a good run of everything is alive through wars like that would be a
yeah.
great block, but it also I don't know, everything is alive isn't the same as what they're doing
Well, and yeah,
Beyonce and beyond.
it sounded like you
So
said Beyonce.
like I put Bless the Martyr in there, but if I was measuring it the same way I did the Chariot, I would probably start with um Redeemer.
Yeah.
So
Because I was about to say, even like Oh God is kind of a separate thing from yeah.
I would consider that
It's
kind of like a transition album, even.
yeah. I would say it would almost lean more towards though Bless the Martyr than,
Yeah,
Redeemer and what you get beyond that. But
yeah.
and I think his vocal style kind of leans more for that or helps with that, whatever. But uh cool, man.
So we'll just have
Interesting.
to see as we keep going through, who's going to
Yeah.
dethrone some of these.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
going to
have
be
to,
tough. It's going to be tough to bring down, especially Every Time I Die out of that top spot.
man. So rehashing it here real quick, honorable mention at number six that got knocked out by the band that we just finished up talking about. You've got Zayo from their Funeral of God album through their Awake album. Number five, you get the Devil Wears Prada from their Roots Above, Branches Below album through their Space EP. Number four, you've got Under Oath from They're Only Chasing Safety to Disambiguation. And number three, you've got AFI, Black Sails in the Sunset through Sing the Sorrow. Number two, Norma Jean from Bless the Martyr, Kiss the Child through Wrongdoers. And Every Time I Die's full discography.
Full
I mean,
discography. If
What
you're
more can I
not
say
into
about
the
that?
super raw stuff, maybe you start with Gutter Phenomenon, you
I
know?
feel like nobody for you, nobody's gonna. I mean, this is not really fair for everybody else. It's like we got to compete with the whole Every Time I Die discography. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna beat that one, right?
Probably not.
Yeah, that's probably a lock. But everything else is subject to change. Who knows, man? Who knows?
I could give it away to somebody who had like two albums and they were both amazing. Like
Two albums though versus what? How many is in their discography?
Every
10?
Time I Die.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Boy, that'd have to be like the world's greatest band.
Yeah, like nine, I think.
Yeah. That's
Nine or
quite a
10.
bit, man. But to me, like put two versus 9 or 10 albums. Phew.
They'd have to be amazing.
Good luck to that band. Yeah. That'll be interesting though. We'll have to wait a whole year. See how many more bands we can add to the list here and see if
Well,
any
and
of those bands can contend.
as we come up like across them, it'll be like organically, like it did with Devil Wears Prada, like how this started.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
if we go through a run of albums, I'm just like, oh my God, this you know what? This one knocks out Under Oath out of their spot.
You
Everybody's
better just
moving down
like
a peg.
you better like post this up on your room somewhere, just like a printout of like your top 5 or 6 or whatever you want to throw Zayo in there, and then just throughout the year 2024, just kind of keep looking at it
Just
and
move it around.
yeah, there you go. Ah. Yeah. Alrighty. 2023, man, what a year. Um, Man, 2024. What is gonna happen next? Yeah, be interested to see. And with another year under our belts. There was something else I was gonna say, but I've already forgotten it. Oh well. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You got anything else to say, Josh, about 2023 or even the future for
Nope.
2024?
I think we're just planning on trying out some new things this next year with the show. Um, yeah, hopefully just mixing it up a little bit. We'll be doing a lot of different bands, we'll be doing some stuff in different genres.
Yeah, I think one
Yeah.
one thing I want to add is like this next year is like maybe doing some like when some of these bands start like even like bands that we've um covered already. Well, yeah, bands that we've covered already. I want to like if they drop new songs or whatever, I want to do like first listen reaction video or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, a lot of things on the horizon. So be on the lookout for them in 2024 and
And
beyond.
beyond.
Plenty more of JesusFreakOut.com reviews.
Oh,
Be on the lookout for those. Alrighty, let's get on out of here, Josh. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at A Survive by Pro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Cores After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast, Eric, and we talk about some of the bands me and Josh have already talked about on the Fun podcast. The Red Right Hand podcast is also there for your listening entertainment. It's covered all 6 seasons of the Peaky Blinders with a few history episodes in between. Make sure to check that out. There's also the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which so far has covered season 1, soon to be season 2, that Josh is super excited for.
I can't
He
wait.
can't contain it.
I can't wait.
Of HBO's House of the Dragon. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. It's right there below him. Read it and weep. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube page. Just search Is Survived by Productions. That'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, the video. Josh, would you like to know who we're going to be covering first in 2024? Who's going to be getting the honor of being the first man on the History of the Course podcast in 2024?
Yeah.
No,
Do you know who?
I know. I know who it is.
Who it is? Let's get the teaser.
Let's get the teaser rolling. They're from the South. Metal. And it's about the
Florida?
Ma Barker gang. The one, the only.
Maylene and her
Maylene.
7 sons of disaster.
Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. I wanted to kick off 2024 right, Josh. And I couldn't wait anymore because I don't think we're ever going to get another album from them. So, screw
We're
you
just
guys.
doing it here.
We're just doing it. So, come back for that in 2024. Maylene and Sons of Disaster. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all that fun junk from your friends at the History of the Course podcast. Until next year, we'll see you.